Bastet, the protector of women and children and goddess of fertility, and perfect timing for Beltane and the full moon in Scorpio and May Day, otherwise known as International Workers' Day, the real one. A lot of busy energy in the air right now, and I'm now back from surviving dysentery or whatever it is that I got sick with out of a clear blue sky. Just no warning whatsoever. But feeling much better, eating real food again. I still have my flat ginger ale and everything. So we're off to the races. And we're coming in with a message from Bastet. Because I had been getting bonked over the head with synchronicities by her and dreams as well. So I actually wanted to start off a little bit differently with something I've been wanting to try for a little while. Some micromancy. So get some charms, some letters and stuff. I apologize if it's loud with the microphone right there. But let's see. I think I'll do. What do we have? We've got V, S, Y, A, there's a vowel, T, another S, and U. Not really getting a lot of names from this, but maybe there's some initials in here that might mean something to you. Maybe someone's Australian, Oz, AUS. And also what just came to mind was like airport codes. What else do we have here? We have a leaf, an anchor, like a pumpkin, seahorse. I think that's a fox. That's kind of what it looks like. Another pumpkin, so 2 pumpkins. 3 pumpkins, so lots of pumpkins. Lots of gourds. Maybe a butternut squash. Another leaf. Pumpkins. So it looks like I got a bunch of fall charms. It's a little scarecrow and an arrow heart. These symbols might mean something to you. An owl with a scarf. That's cute. This looks like a maple leaf. So maybe a Canadian. Because my ginger ale, it's Canada Dry. Just making me think of the airport codes. I don't know what this is. A whale tail? I don't know. A stack of 3 pumpkins, like a snow pumpkin. And a snowflake. Cornucopia. And another owl. So a lot to do with fall. And there is a pumpkin, I think, in a cornucopia sometimes. Like the Fruit of the Loom logo. Something coming up in fall. Travel, maybe? Since airport codes were coming to mind. Maybe you like to eat. Pumpkins, butternut squash. I kind of am lumping the owls and the scarecrow together to like ward something off. She is a goddess of protection. But in the dream that I had about her, she seemed very unbothered, as the clock chimes. But she seemed very unbothered. And I didn't get much context from that dream, except that there were gift bags of cigarettes being given out, which is a particular vice of mine. And then I saw the cat in the dream, which I think is her, stretching. Very unbothered, very like this is an obstacle that's been overcome already. And Beltane, it's a season of new, a season of fertility, which she also is a goddess of. So let's see, start getting some cards. Just kind of diving straight into this message a little bit. Because I felt so out of it. Let's get another card to get a little bit more of a jumping off point. So protection, travel, seasonal, and some sort of mystery, whatever that whale tail was. So tell me more. This. It's my tiny little hands. I have a tough time shuffling this. This is the Lunar Nomad Oracle. Letter number 27. So it's playing into the travel theme for me, like a postcard. Kind of looks like a passport sticker. Protecting forward movement, maybe? Forward movement regarding what? So I feel like a lot of us are looking for that new beginning. Like, okay, it's been a really long winter. Like, winter's lasted over a few summers now. How about that harvest? I think that's represented in the social climate right now, especially with what I was seeing from the May Day protests. It's a lot of people pushing back on unfair conditions. Yeah, Six of Swords, leaving a travel card. I'm really curious as to what this travel is about. Because I've been seeing a, I guess, connection between the lunar cycle. Seeing some people talk about that. Between the Scorpio full moon and then the Sagittarius full moon. That should be in September, I believe. Potentially, I didn't check this before I got on here, but right around Lugnosa, if I'm saying that right. I always mix up the last two syllables. Well, what is this travel about? Because she has kind of a domestic vibe to her. just the association of cats and the home, her protecting the home, and protecting food supplies. That was a big deal. I don't know if like a technological advancement is a right word for that, but domesticating, quote unquote, cats so that they eat the mice and protect the food. That was a pretty significant advancement. But that's all domestic. So we've got King of Wands, the Devil in reverse, and the Star in reverse. And the King of Wands in this picture is like looking out upon like a burning building. And honestly, it's giving me like revolutionary vibes, is what I'm getting from this. Not only seeing past the illusions, but past the ideals. Is seeing through the veil, really, because we talk about Samhain as the point when the veil is the thinnest, and we forget about Beltane, and that's when things that are seen want to become hidden, and Samhain is the opposite, when the unseen wants to become seen. And it's like seeing through everything. Like mastering, I want to say clearing of the brush in any circumstance. And leaving behind that which you've known, that which you've known to be true. This feels big. And those are big energies too, the Devil and the Star. I'm curious how this is going to develop. So what do we need to know about clearing away the veil? It's like it's just going to be gone. It'd be like if everybody in the Matrix woke up at once. Like was suddenly pulled out of being a battery. That would indeed be a catastrophic failure. But catastrophic for whom? And I think that's what a lot of us are kind of contemplating on right now. It's like, okay, yeah, we don't want to see terrible things happen. Of course not. And people not be able to make their livelihoods and so forth. But what has the status quo got us? And it's starting to question that, like, perspective of, okay, yeah, obviously there are bad things to come if the system, whichever respective system you're talking about, falls. But what about the bad things that happen if it stays in place? Like oppression and exploitation. I just saw that, was it Disney or Marvel, however the split is, they laid off 1,000 like visual artists, the people that built like the Marvel empire, just laid them off, and now their art is going to be chewed up and spit back out by some AI. And it's just like it's right in front of our face how much we are not valued. Like we're no more than a screwdriver, but we're people. And I don't know, I think people are fed up. So maybe it's that kind of veil that's coming down. Illusions, delusions, the delusions that, you know, these promises that we were sold will ever pay off. Familiar. There's the cat. Bastet. Reinforcement. Piercing stare on that too. This is actually the cover art for this deck. First time I've pulled it. It's got a very eldritch looking symbol in the background. It looks like a spider actually. All the leggies. So more reinforcement from her. What else do we need to know? Because a familiar is that special bond. Like there's, oh, magician. People will sometimes sort their pets into different categories, like pet, familiar, or their soul kitty, their soul puppy, you know. But magician, that's somebody who has mastered illusions. Like I generally think of it as like alchemy, but just the way that this picture is with all the items from all the different suits kind of floating in the air, and then they've got that wand, looks like the wands that burst into the flowers, like the bouquet of flowers. It's like a stage performer. And I was talking about Disney and such. And all that hard work that those visual artists have done, it could become an illusion of like what was theirs and what was compiled by AI based on what they did. Like right now, AI is still like a bit clunky enough that you can see the difference, but you put that in the hands of a studio like Disney, it's going to accelerate the development of that technology in such a way that it becomes like indistinguishable from human art. And that's not a good thing. I think the potentials that we have for AI have quickly been outpaced by greed. Because I think there are applications for it, a lot of accessibility applications for it. That's not what it's being used for in most cases. So what else about the familiar? So protecting a bond to that which is yours. Ace of Wands, Judgment, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and Seven of Wands in reverse. Let us see. So that's like Kenaz. the creative flame, an idea into motion, passion, and judgment. I'm getting like ill-gotten gains from that. That combination with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And in the Seven of Wands, there isn't usually a second person in the card there. So it's like wanting you or whomever to drop your guard to get to the prize, whatever she represents. Could be your art, maybe on a more like micro scale. You're dealing with some sort of intellectual property theft, something like that. And that did ding right when I said that. And the Magician, I mean, in the reverse, can be very manipulative. I don't see, outside of the Magician, I don't see any pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune could take the pentacle place, but it's in reverse. So it's like, don't sell your soul for the quick buck. Like, read the fine print. You know, if you are trying to get a creative venture or something off the ground, there might be intellectual property clauses if you're creating under their name, their company. There probably is. So, of course, like, consult the appropriate professionals, contract attorneys or whatever. But it's interesting to me, too. Both the Ace of Wands and Judgment have a hand. Just a single hand. And the Ace of Wands, they have something. They have something potent in their hand. But Judgment is like reaching. It needs something. It's wanting. So is there somebody... I don't know. Maybe trying to dangle a carrot in front of you, like travel? Something like that? To try and like sweeten the deal up front, but then really on the back end you're going to be taking like major losses because you'll be losing something. Forgot about that alarm. I am discombobulated, just getting back into the groove of things. But yeah, it seemed like that alarm went off when I was talking about the carrot and that you might be losing something on the back end. And those alarms, you know, they interrupt filming and such. It's like not wanting this to be seen. Like the fine print or something. So what is in the fine print that we need to look for? Okay. Birds and umbrella. And that's kind of a port window. And all the birds are outside and all the cages are inside. An umbrella. That's the second to last card. That's kind of got the travel vibes on it too. It's floating through the air. Watching for something that could stop your motion. Stop that forward travel, forward movement. What else? Ten of Wands, the burden. But the burden that's almost to be put down. And this does kind of give Mordor vibes. The castle in the distance. Not very inviting. In the red color scheme. I'm almost getting like a startup or something, or smaller company that's like, oh, this is just the way it needs to be for a little while, like, but then future faking, like, that could do a lot more harm to your progress than good. Like, not every offer is a good one. Oh, maybe that's what I was getting at right as the alarm went off. That you might underestimate the value of what it is you have. Maybe there's, I don't know, just humility, humbleness, being a newer artist, newer creative, something. Not quite knowing the ropes of things. But you don't, like, of course it's important to know the ins and outs of the industry and such, and lean on trusted people, advisors, professionals, whatever. But you can still know the mechanics of when people are being manipulative. Like if they're trying to rush the deal. Anybody that wants to work with you is going to know that you need some time to consider any sort of offer, job, whatever it is. Might need to review it, might need to, especially if this is something that like comes out of the blue and you need to secure legal counsel or whatever to review the contract. Like you want to do that in a timely manner if that's truly an offer that you're interested in. But there's got to be some understanding from the other side of the table that you are an individual, not a company with a budget. And might be a good point of inquiry to see, like, why the rush? Why did you pop out of the blue and then you need an answer within a week? Like, that's suspicious. That's really fast. I mean, I've had office jobs that take months to secure, depending on the industry that a company or something is working within. You might check and see like when their fiscal year ends. If it's nowhere close to that, like literally, what is the rush? It's a valid question. But that future faking, I don't know. Because yeah, you can get all the guarantees you want in a contract. That doesn't mean they'll ever have the capital to actually pay you if they fall through on their end of the deal. I don't know. Really got to use your discernment on that. But the gut instinct, just taking the bottom one, that was mini. The gut instinct, I think, is a good indicator, because that is going to be the thing that tries to get overridden, tries to get thrown out of balance. Two of Pentacles. And I'm almost getting like a trade-off there. Like that's what the trade-off is. The Ten of Wands to the Two of Pentacles. That's a lot of burden for a small yield. Even if they're the best pentacles that there ever was, it's still only two. And in this economy, you need more than two pentacles to rub together. Or whatever that saying is. So what else about this? And usually they're kind of dancing, the figure in this card. And she's not. Very turbulent waters behind her. Looks like a battleship. It's got kind of a wily expression. Seems like trickstery. But I wonder if just the vibe from that dream I had was like, you know what your carrots are. Like, you know what could be dangled in front of your face that would be a temptation, and that's why the cat in the dream was so relaxed, because it's not, this is not new information. This is not a new lesson that you need to learn again. You know. You know if travel is going to tempt you, or if you're like so many of us that ends up have not been meeting, that a big shiny number might like throw you off balance a little bit, and like want to validate they can actually back up that number. You know, look into the history of the business. I don't know, just do some general internet sleuthing, like the Better Business Bureau, something like that. And I'm sure any contract lawyer will know a lot more about, like, where to look. Yeah, Five of Pentacles. This is very ominous depiction of this, because it's a woman holding an infant, walking through an alley, kind of looking around, but there's a shadowy figure behind her. That's very different than the, like, Five of Pentacles in most depictions, where it's a couple of people that seem to be together and out in the snow together. She's being followed, it looks like. She might not be, but I don't know, all the shadows on the walls and everything, it's not very reassuring. And I guess that's another thing to consider as well. Are the places that you're being asked to travel safe? Or as safe as they can be? Especially if you're a solo female traveler. That is not necessarily the best position to always be in. Because, like, your body language can kind of give you away that you feel insecure. That you're in a new area, you're kind of looking around. you know, your accent might give you away that you're not from here. It just kind of seems like someone, for some reason, wants to get you into a vulnerable position. Maybe that is to swipe something of yours that is of value, an idea, piece of art, I don't know. So what? What else do we need to know about this? I don't really have a direct question. My goodness. Or how do we... I don't necessarily want to say avoid this, because it's good to keep the... I don't know. The discernment sharp. But what do we need to know about navigating this, I guess? Child? And she's holding a child. And there's music notes. It's a very young child. Communication? It doesn't quite make sense to me. Maybe looking at things through... Or that's how they're seeing you. As the child, the naive, you don't know any better. Because I kind of feel like that's how Bastet is seen. Very innocent, very non-threatening, which it's more like, if you've ever played Tekken, she'd be more like one of the like cute young women who just decimates anybody that steps up to her. She just looks very slight and nice and whatnot, but will kick you in the face. So maybe if you figure out like mid job interview, negotiation, something like that, that it isn't what you thought it was, 5 of Cups, don't lay into them right there, maybe at all. Because there's 5 cups knocked over in the foreground and 3 knocked over in the foreground, 2 still upright in the background. And regardless of how icky bad business practices these people might be engaging in, they might also know people. So even if like ripping them a new one might feel good in the moment because you've seen them, you know, this kid's got their eyes wide open. You let them know, like, I'm on is that worth it? Because that could potentially, like, inadvertently shut doors for you elsewhere. And it's not because they're right and you're wrong. No, it's because they have a foothold in an industry you might be trying to get into, or a business sector or something, a company. And, I don't know, as satisfying as it can be to show the teeth and to show people that you are the wrong one to mess with, for myself and you, I think it's all in our best interest that we secure our paths forward so we can live the lives that we want to live, you know? Not around malicious, shady, sneaky people. Seven of Pentacles, be patient. Which is advice I hate. I hate it with a fiery passion. But look at those bags. She's got so many. Wait for the right offer. Because the wrong offer sooner is still the wrong offer. It's just going to cause you grief and a whole new problem to deal with. And she looks comfy. Like, she looks like she's living it up, you know. People talk about money as if it's this evil thing, and it gets used for evil, absolutely, but it's a tool. It's a resource. It's like, if I want to build a wooden house, I need wood. You know, it's just a different type of tool. But once you have it, if you can grow it, if you can get those wheels turning, might be able to put your feet up someday, you know, not lose your entire life to labor, which would be nice, because there's more than enough to go around for everyone. It's just not being taxed appropriately. Two of Wands, travel, getting ready for those ships to come in. And I think from being picky, from being stubborn, from being difficult, all those things that, like, people will throw in your face, to, like, how dare you not let me exploit you, take advantage of you, pull the wool over your eyes, and so on and so forth. And he's wearing a safari outfit. Could be going to exotic places, you know. And don't forget to check the vaccine list before you head out there. Kind of pondering his orb, just looking out into the distance. And it can be so irritating to wait. And that, I think that's a theme that came up in one of the last couple of readings. That doing things the honest way leads to short-term discomfort and long-term gain. Pardon me. And I know my own frustration is like, yeah, well, got bills to pay. Like, that does need to be addressed. So it's got, you know, there's going to be competing interests, if you will. But long term, I'd say keep your eye on the prize. Don't settle for less than what you want. 'Cause the more you do that, the more you make concessions, the longer you will be kept away from what it is that you want. And that doesn't mean that there's a guarantee in this life that you will get what you want. But at least if you're aiming for exactly that, you'll either get that or as close as humanly possible as you could ever get to that. So, because it can be really frustrating, I know, to hear detached advice about, oh, it will work out. I can't make that promise. Nothing in life is guaranteed. It'd be nice. I mean, death and taxes are. And I mean, even taxes are just based on our current system. My Own Summer, Deftones. It's a good song. I haven't heard that in a while. I think that was, geez, was that late 90s? Something like that. They've been making music for a while. But summer, you know, Beltane, kind of leaning into that theme of what you want in life that is your own summer. The goal is yours, the desire is yours. It doesn't have to make sense to other people. Other people might call you naive, head in the clouds, an idealist, whatever, for pursuing what it is you want. But I mean, if you're not doing that, what are you doing in this life? Just a little bit of food for thought. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.